I don't know about you, but I'm always looking for something new to play in my VR headset, and as much as I love the excitement of a brand new VR game release, I can't always justify spending the money to buy it. Besides, sometimes there's even more fun to be had in revisiting an old favorite, especially when there's been a ton of updates since you last played. That is the coolest thing I've ever seen. We are in mixed reality, look at this. This is my new favorite class. As soon as the buy phase is over, I'm killing him. That's right, a few amazing VR games that you probably know and love have gotten huge updates recently, making right now the perfect time to jump back into them. These are all free content updates too, so if you already own these games, you're all set. If not though, you can get them for 25% off with the links in the description. Also, if you want to learn more about a specific game, I might already have a dedicated video about it. But for now, let's revisit these new and improved VR games so I can show you what you're missing out on. But not until you leave a like on this video. Did you do it yet? I'm just gonna assume you did it. Dungeons of Eternity is still peak VR dungeon crawling. If you haven't heard of it, this game is basically what I've been wanting out of Blade and Sorcery for years because I love that immersive physics-based combat, but I always wanted a progression system that allows you to acquire new weapons, armor, become more powerful over time, and Dungeons of Eternity delivers exactly that with a cool sci-fi tinted aesthetic. When I covered this game at its launch, I called it my new favorite VR game, and I honestly still stand by that. This is one of the best co-op experiences available for standalone VR.
Game's peak. Wait, can I climb this?
You freaking monkey. Get down, Caesar. This most recent update just made it even better by adding a new weapon type to unlock and new traps to avoid while exploring these dungeons. Ever since this game came out, players have been asking for two-handed weapons to be added to the game, and apparently the developers listened. These new two-handed swords look incredibly fun to use, and the high-level versions look so cool too, though I didn't get a chance to try one out for myself yet because the only way to unlock the new gear is through randomized chests.
Oh, you got the chest up here.
Yes. Please give me a broadsword. That was terrifying.
I hate that.
That is one thing that's a little frustrating about this game. Unlocking new weapons can be pretty slow, especially when there's a high chance of you getting a useless cosmetic item out of a chest instead of a weapon blueprint. I literally unlocked a new skin tone. Why am I unlocking skin tones in this game? But that's something I talked a lot about in my previous video on Dungeons of Eternity, so if you're still not sure about this game, definitely check that video out. But I should also mention for the returning players that they increased the max level to 60, added a new enemy type, and over 25 new dungeon chambers and trap rooms, so the game feels totally fresh.
Wait, I want to see if these guys get hit by these axes or if they're smart.
Oh, that's a... Oh! Nope. Oh my gosh, they also added native B haptic support. That's probably so cool in this game. So if you have a Quest headset, definitely give this game another shot and let me know what you think. Sorry, PC VR players. I'll have some more games for you coming up though. The next VR game that got a massive update is Bone Lab. I'm just kidding. I bet you got really excited for a second, but no, it's been over a year and we still haven't gotten anything but tweets. So instead, let me remind you about Broken Edge. I'm guessing most of you here have seen my video about this game already, but since then, they've added a brand new character class, the Ronin. Happy147 made a video about this. He said it makes you feel like an anime character, and he's so right. Sheath the sword and strike. Sheath it. That's so cool. The way you have to unsheath your sword to power up your strike is a perfect example of how Broken Edge makes you really embody these characters. This is an amazing PvP sword fighting game, and if you or a friend doesn't own it already, it's only $11 with that discount link in the description. Also, shout out to the user on Discord who tagged me to see this. That made me laugh so hard, but I really hope this video does get some more players back into the game. Oh, also, I forgot to mention, this game has a new mixed reality option that lets you fight your opponent through a portal in your room. It's so funny seeing you right next to my treadmill right here. Seriously, that is so cool. I wish more VR games would utilize mixed reality like this. Oh, what's that? Oh, they do? Battle Talent has a new mixed reality mode so you can turn any space into your very own fighting arena. If you haven't heard of it, Battle Talent is basically like Blade and Sorcery's younger cousin, but it actually has a lot more in common with Dungeons of Eternity. It's a physics-based melee game with procedural dungeons for you to fight through, although Battle Talent does have a lot more weapon variety, enemy types, boss fights, magic spells, and a sandbox mode complete with built-in mod support. So really the only downside is the lack of multiplayer. But like I said in my original video on this game, if you want something that feels like Blade and Sorcery combat, but with enemies that pose a genuine challenge, you won't be disappointed by this. That is a lot of skeletons. And Battle Talent's latest update allows you to bring those intense battles into, well, anywhere you want, really. This mode is definitely still a work in progress, but I mean, come on, this is just so cool. Technology is so cool. My younger self would have absolutely freaked out over the idea of a game that lets me fight goblins and skeletons with my own 2 hands in my backyard. Luckily, this isn't the only game that utilizes a physics-based melee system and mixed reality. Dragon Fist is one of the most unexpectedly good VR games I've played this year, and it's only gotten better with this new mixed reality option. You can play basically the whole single-player mode wherever you want. This includes different maps too, like this boxing ring map that actually conforms to your guardian boundaries, or this map that adds rain to your environment, which looks insanely cool. I've never experienced rain in mixed reality before. This is kind of crazy. If you haven't seen my dedicated video on Dragon Fist, let me just say, do not judge this game by its cover, or art style, or graphics, whatever you call this, because Dragon Fist is, well, I have to be honest, it's the best way to beat the crap out of someone without actually hurting anyone. Well, unless you accidentally throw your VR controller at someone while throwing a punch, that might hurt, but that wouldn't be a problem if you had these Kiwi Design controller grips. That's right, this video is sponsored by Kiwi Design. How cool is that? They are one of the most recognizable VR accessory brands out there, and I've personally been buying their products for years now. So real quick, let me do what I do best and improve your VR experience with a quick recommendation. In my opinion, this is the second most essential accessory for your Quest headset. After you've gotten yourself set up with a much more comfortable battery head strap, these should be your next purchase for 2 huge reasons. Number 1, of course, is that they prevent you from accidentally throwing the controllers when you release the grip button. Any game that involves you grabbing or throwing things, which I guess is basically every VR game, will be so much better when you have these, since you can actually let go of the controllers and not have to worry about dropping them. And that leads me to the second reason I love these. Most VR games have your hands open by default, which makes sense because, you know, that's usually what people's hands look like when they're not holding anything. But if you're gripping onto a controller, you'll probably feel some disconnect between what your real hands are doing and what your virtual hands look like. So these controller grips allow you to open and relax your hands so that they line up more accurately with your virtual ones. Basically, it makes your Quest controllers feel like Valve Index controllers. And to me, that is game-changing. Also, they have this tab that makes swapping batteries easier too. Slightly less game-changing, but still very cool. So take my recommendation and improve your VR experience with these. Or don't, that's fine too. But I'll have a referral link down below and a discount code for 5% off. Whoa, transition. Guys, comment about how crazy this transition is. Whoa. Okay, so far this list has been entirely melee-focused VR games, so for those of you who prefer ranged combat, let's take a look at what's new in Ghosts of Tabor. The bunker has a brand new cat? There's a cat in the game? Is that all they added? That's it. Okay. Well then, let's talk about Breachers. Since its launch, this game has added a whole new game mode, an armory for customizing weapons with skins, 3 new maps, and a new competitive mode with exclusive seasonal rewards. I never made a dedicated video on this game, but I did feature it in a video where I said, this isn't just a typical VR shooter, there is so much strategy and depth to this game. Which is why this game still stands out despite there being so many other great VR FPS games. This game is much more tactical and strategic than most. In fact, it's basically Rainbow Six Siege, but perfectly adapted for standalone VR. Well, except for the lack of a full-body character, that did always bother me. However, I do love that they added a brand new control point game mode, because this is great for practicing with new weapons and loadouts in a much faster and more forgiving way. Instead of dying at the beginning of a round and having to sit through several minutes of spectator mode, they just broke through. This new control point mode, along with the team deathmatch, allows you to experiment with different guns, gadgets, attachments in a run and gun style multiplayer match. Definitely try this mode out if you weren't great at the base game mode like me. This is a much better way to practice and kind of fine-tune your skills before going into the standard Breachers game mode. And last but not least, the Light Brigade is actually a game I had never played before. I've always heard amazing things about the satisfying gun mechanics and cool visual aesthetic, but nothing piqued my interest quite like this latest update. You see, the Light Brigade is a stylish roguelike shooter where you fight through procedural levels, collecting loot and upgrades in the form of these tarot cards. Sounds pretty cool, but I'm not the biggest fan of roguelikes, and I already have plenty of VR shooter games I love, so why would I— Stealth Archer class. Stealth Archer class. Armed with a recurve bow and throwing knives, you'll be able to explore this brand new environment type called the Sunless Keep. This is such a cool change of pace for this game, and I hope it brings in a lot of new players like it did with me. That's all I have time for in this video, but I'm sure I missed plenty of amazing games that got updates recently. These are just the ones that I happen to be playing right now, so let me know down in the comments what other VR games are worth revisiting now. As always, for more VR recommendations, be sure to subscribe. I'm Virtual Bro, and I still don't have a good outro. I've been saying, like, see you later or see you in the next video, but I feel like everyone says that. I kind of want to be original. I want to say something like...